Hi again, Michael McGuire, elder law attorney with the California Elder Law Center. We've covered a lot of ground. We've got a little bit more to go to make sure you get access to the public benefits you need and deserve so that you get some quality care. Quality care at home, in an assisted living, or in a nursing home. Quality care that will be paid for in part or completely by the Veterans Administration for veterans and the spouses of veterans, or for the citizens of California in a nursing home. Now, we talked about eligibility. That was based upon your income and the fact that you get to make the deductions just like you do on your tax return. You get to make deductions on your assets just like on your tax return. You get to do that, and that means that it busts the myth, is this legal? You bet it's legal. Title 38, federal regulations, Title 22, state regulations. If you know the regs, if you read them, that's the rule book. Go by the rules, you're safe. Now, if you make a mistake here, though, California's got this little trick called recovery. So they'll give you the benefit, they'll pay the benefit, but when that person who was getting the benefit has passed away, it's like a boomerang. They want to get all the money back. So they take your assets and they put them into the three buckets. We talked about that. What's interesting is the field of play is so uneven. The legislature, back in the year 2000, created a form. This form is California Department of Health Care Services Form 7077. What does this form say? This is required by law that everybody who goes in a nursing home gets this form. It says your house is exempt. You get to keep your house. It says you may protect all or some of your savings, every penny for you and your spouse. It says there's exemptions here as far as how you can keep these assets. You can keep them for your family. You can avoid recovery. Oddly enough, it says you should seek out a competent attorney that knows how this process works. I've never heard of a public program said to go get an attorney, but this is one that does. And the legislators thought it was important enough that they wanted to put it into the law and make sure that disclosure goes out to you. They have to disclose to you along the way that they're going to put a lien on that house. It scares people, but they have to send that disclosure out. They need to disclose to you when you apply for it with California MC 216 that you're allowed to transfer assets. Yes, you are, and they're supposed to sit down and tell you that. They don't, but they should. That's the law. So how do you go about doing this? You have too much money in that middle bucket. You're allowed to have $109,000 if you're the spouse at home. You're allowed to have $2,000 if you're the spouse in the nursing home. If you're a single person, you can only have $2,000 in what? Cash, savings, checking, money market accounts, stock brokerage account, mutual funds, annuities, rental property. Now you've got choices here. The Veterans Administration says you can only have a limited amount of money in that middle bucket as well. What are your choices? You can give it away. Whoa, did he say give it away? Yes. Well, I thought there was a look back period or something. I thought it was coming up here in 5 years or something. Here's the rules. You want to know the rules? The rules are in California today. It's 30 months. You give anything away for less than fair market value, 30 months. They'll give you a penalty. If you know how to do it, though, you can transfer a lot of money out of that middle bucket and give it away to your family. That may not always be the best thing to do, but you can do that. You can convert it. You can take those assets and turn them into income, and that's okay. You can turn it into income for the spouse at home. And that way the spouse at home gets the income and will continue to get it for the rest of their life. Or you can transfer it. You can put it into a safe harbor, and that safe harbor will hold those funds, and those funds will be safe for the rest of your life, dedicated to taking care of you, taking care of your loved ones, taking care of the senior, supplementing their care, making sure they get terrific care. And by doing it that way, those funds stay safe and sound for the use of the senior until the day comes. Until the day comes that they're no longer here, and now there's going to be a bit of a legacy. A bit of a legacy for the family to help pay for their education, to help give them a start for a down payment on a house. Now that keep bucket has the most important asset that most of us all have, and that's our house. And that's the one that most people are worried about. The big myth is they're going to put a lien on your house if you get Medi-Cal. The big myth is that they're going to take your house away from you. That is just that. It's a myth. It's a myth. It's not true. That's not the case. But you have to do something. What are you able to do? You're able to do a couple of different things. You can give the house away. You can convert the house or you can transfer the house. This is starting to sound familiar? That's because it is. You can use these different strategies. Now sometimes you have to keep an eye out, not just for Medi-Cal, not just for the VA, but you have to keep an eye out for who? Our friends at the IRS. Moving that house around you may be protecting the house from Medi-Cal, but you may be causing a bigger problem with the IRS. So it's important you deal with a professional who knows how that works. You also want to make sure you keep it straight with the county tax assessor. We've got Prop 13 in California. That means when that house transfers from a parent to a child, they get to keep mom and dad's wonderful tax assessment. You want to make sure you preserve that because there's steps that you must take legally to make sure that happens. There's one last bucket. That was that bucket sitting down at the end, the retirement account bucket. You can keep it if it's a retirement account. You have an IRA, you worked at one of the aerospace companies, you built up a big retirement in your 401k, you left, you rolled it over to an IRA. You need to know you get to keep that account. You need to know you're legally entitled to every penny in that account. And if something happens to you, it goes to your spouse. And if something happens to your spouse, it goes to your kids. The state of California can't put a finger on that account. That account may cause you a little bit of complications with the Veterans Administration, but there's ways to deal with that too. You have choices, and you need to know what those choices are, and you need to hear it from somebody that knows how these rules work. So what you've found out so far is this myth about they're going to take your house. Wrong. It's just that, a myth. The truth is you get to keep your house. You get to keep the house for the rest of your life, and you get to keep your house for your family. The money that's sitting in that bucket, I have too much money, I don't qualify. Wrong. You can get that money out of that bucket, but you have to do it legally. You have to do it according to the rules. I have a retirement account. That means I have too much money. Wrong. It doesn't even count. You get to keep that account separate from everything else. You just got to know how the rules work, and you and your family can get access to the public benefits that you need and deserve. Next time out, I'm going to talk to you about a couple of other issues that really deal with the quality of your care. That's the part I like the best, and I'm looking forward to talking to you then. Thanks.